What's going on, 75Junction here? We have a very special guest in the house today. We have Jessica here. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing
I'm
today?
doing fantastic. I can't complain. I appreciate you coming out. This is like our third attempt, but
Right.
third time's a charm.
So
So here we
thanks
are.
for your patience and thanks for having
No, absolutely. Thanks for your
me.
patience and thanks for giving me the time of day to come out and actually do an interview
Of
with
course.
me and stuff like that. So for those who don't know you, we're gonna just talk about kind of your situation and what happened with you with your eye, and just kind of talk about how you manage to stay positive and how you persevere through that every day, because obviously it's a huge change and it's an adjustment. So can you just for those who don't know, just explain the situation, like kind of what happened?
Okay. Well, I was on my
I'm sure you told a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It's cool. It never gets old. No. So I was actually on my way to work
Mm-hmm.
one day and I stopped at a stop sign. And as I stopped, had to yield to the right of way.
Right.
One guy drove and stopped on the left of me. Another guy drove and stopped on the right of me. So once they stopped, and well, I kind of noticed like, wait, this is a little weird. They hopped out and started shooting at each other. I was actually just caught in the middle. I was kind of like a shield to both of them, I guess you can
Jeez.
say.
Mm-hmm.
So my windows got shot out, my car was getting shot up, and then finally I got shot in the face and in the hand.
Jeez.
Yeah. So right when it happened, I kind of just like stopped and froze for a minute, but then I
Mm-hmm.
went to, call for help. But, blood was everywhere and I couldn't unlock my phone or anything like that. So I actually had to drive off. And I wasn't really familiar with where I was. So I was just kind of making turns. I stopped at a gas station, it was closed.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, that's when I had to like crawl on like the end of the street and wave down for help to have someone call an ambulance.
That's crazy. So at the first moment when that happened, did you realize right then, like, oh my God, I can't see
No,
out of my eye?
I didn't know what happened to me. I
Mm-hmm.
knew blood was pouring out of my face.
So you just thought like maybe blood was just blocking your vision or
Right.
something.
I mean, I was holding my face because I knew it was gunshots, so I figured,
Mm-hmm.
something happened, but so much blood was coming out that I was trying to like apply pressure, just the natural instinct. Like,
Right.
if you're bleeding out, apply pressure.
Right. Apply pressure. Okay.
So that's what I was actually doing as I
Mm-hmm.
was driving. And I didn't realize I actually lost an eye until I woke up in the hospital.
Okay. So you actually like passed out like on the way to the hospital.
Yeah, well, I passed out before the ambulance got there. So I woke back up while I was in the hospital. I'm sorry, while I was in the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of dozed back out, and then I woke back up in the hospital.
Jeez, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
so when you arrived at the hospital and you woke up, had they already performed like the operation, like removing the bullet? Like, was the bullet still in your head? Like,
No, when I first woke up, they were like rushing me through the hospital. So they were, like cutting all my clothes off
oh
and
my God.
yeah, all of that. So that was the crazy part. And then actually they gave me, like a anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
However, they could only give me but so much. So like I still knew what was going on, kind of. But then
Right.
they were like, once they knew that I knew what was going on, that's when I was out. So then after that, I woke up after the initial surgery was done. So I still had a bullet in my hand, or a bullet fragment in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
but this was all patched up and cleared out.
Jeez. So it was pretty much like those scenes like in movies when you see like from the first person view of the person like that's on the bed, and you see like the doctors around you
Yes.
and the people alongside, and
That's
coach you
exactly
through
what
like
it
it's gonna be
was.
okay. Like,
Yes, that is not made up in movies. That's exactly how it goes.
oh my goodness, that's so. I mean, what was it like to just experience that? Like, I mean, I would imagine just a range of emotions were just going through your head. Like, were you scared? Were you like nervous? Like, what were you feeling at that time?
For some reason, I wasn't like nervous or scared, and I mean, I'm very spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and like just from the situation alone, I kind of already knew I was, already covered under God's, favor. So,
Right, right.
like, I really wasn't nervous. I was confused more so because it's just like I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
I know something happened to me, and I think that's why I was so calm. I guess you can say calm, or as calm as
Right.
I
As
could
calm as you
be.
could be. Right.
Right, because it was like, well, I'm alive.
Mhm.
Let's start there. So it can't be too bad, and I'm aware of what's going on. So it's not like brain functionality or anything like that.
Right.
So at the end of the day, anything it is just a physical Boo boo. No.
That's a good way to look at it. And you know, I mean, just I feel like anybody, you know, that hears about your situation, I mean, one should be appreciative of what they have, because I mean that just goes to show in the blink of an eye, everything can change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's also a testament to you and how you know remain positive and optimistic, even though you have one eye now. You know what I'm saying? That you can effectively use.
Right.
So I mean that's a big like handicap, and a lot of people don't realize it. Like me personally, I don't know if this is weird or not, but I always imagine like if I lost my right arm, what would I do?
What
So I
would
like,
I do?
Right. So I like do stuff for like my left hand just to prepare, just in case for whatever reason I lose my right hand for whatever reason, or just things like that. You
right.
know. And
well, luckily my eye, like this eye, actually adjusted to where it has a wider field of vision.
Okay.
I do have problems with like depth perception. So like if you put something there, like I really have to concentrate on going to grab it because I don't really know how far away it is. So like I can't go downstairs really well, things like that. But like you said, at the end of the day, the only thing that I wanted at that moment, when I was crawling on that side of the street, is just to live. That's all I wanted. I was actually screaming in the ambulance, like, keep me alive for my mom, like, and I have my mother here, every day with me. I have my life every single day. Right. So those are the kind of things. Just imagine in your last moment, would you want the clothes? Would you want the car? You wouldn't want any of that. You would just want your life, and you have that every single day.
Absolutely. That's wow. That's yeah. No, that's very true, because I mean I can't imagine like just being in that position, you know what I'm saying? Like just to put myself in your shoes, even mentally, is just overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean I definitely respect you a lot, just like I said, because you're able to keep going, and you're able to look at it as not a setback but as a new chapter. And basically, right. Like you said, you have your life, you have your family, you have everything that you need and that you care about. So I mean, what's an eye compared to that? You know what I'm saying?
And this is just, like I said, a physical defect. And I've never led with my looks,
Right.
Like I've always led with who I am, and no eye can change that. Right,
absolutely. So, and people that are genuine, and people that genuinely care about you, that's white noise in the background. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to focus on that. They're not worried about that. They're worried about you as an individual, who you are as a person. And, your personality is great. You know what I'm saying? So that's already, you're already good right there. You got your personality good. So that's an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Right. If they're truly for you, then that won't even matter. For
sure. That's how I feel about it. I don't even think about it sometimes. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah.
You just wake up like,
I'm
I forgot this.
Aren't I?
That's crazy. So what kind of adjustments have you had to make as a result of losing an eye?
Well, I was out of work for about 7 months or so. I think about that amount of time. And, like I didn't have a car or anything then. I was kind of worried about even, getting back behind the wheel at first.
Right.
Not so much of a scare point of view, but, it is hard to drive with,
right.
Without being able to look over on this side or anything like that. So at the beginning, that was an issue. And then, of course, being out of work and then coming back to work was probably the biggest adjustment, only because, again, I didn't really know what was going to come of it. And I think that was more of how I have to adjust. From the beginning, I've been very, like, this is what it is, and we're just going to keep it moving. But getting back into normal routines, it was more of the, like, well, what's going to happen kind of deal, like.
Right.
So, but overall, like I said, I kept it moving. Like, not saying I didn't have to adjust, because things are different.
Absolutely.
People that don't know me or don't know my story, and I work in restaurant industry, so they're looking at me like, what? Why are you even here? What's happening?
Right. And I figured that was kind of that's kind of what I was gonna ask you next, like human interaction, dealing with other people, because sometimes, for lack of a better term, people can be shitty. You know what I'm saying? So do you like have to deal with that a lot, or is it just kind of like few and far between?
You have some people who will just sit and stare. And, and I will definitely like sit and stare with them.
Have a staring contest.
Right. And then finally, when it gets a little weird, I might like, what are you looking at? Like, and that's for adults. Kids are very like, what happened to your
Right,
eye?
right. Kids have no filter at all.
Yeah,
Like,
they have no problem asking me what happened. And, I have to be a little hesitant because I don't want to tell an innocent kid, like, a man shot me in my face.
right, right.
So I'm very hesitant with that. But yeah, kids, they'll be the ones to really make a big thing about it. Adults still kind of look and you'll see, kind of like, oh, wait, did that girl just walk by with one eye?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some adults who will just flat out, hey, what happened? And then I tell them, and now it's like,
Right.
so overall, I don't get I don't get too many bad interactions with it. I've heard, other people speaking to other people, kind of background noise that they'll say a couple of things, like, why doesn't she cover it up? Or, they ask amongst themselves, what do you think happened to her? Things like that. But it stays between them. They usually don't, come to me.
Right,
like,
that's normally how it goes.
why don't you do that,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I used to wear an eye patch for a while, but it itches one, like it scrapes on my face the whole time. And like I said, I kind of accepted, like, this is who I am.
I got you.
It's
So,
okay.
so do you feel like that was like kind of, I don't want to say like evolving, but kind of like changing a chapter in the sense like, normal life, boom, incident happens. Now I'm adjusting, but I'm still a little shy to show who I truly am in public because now that's a part of you. That's who you are
Right.
now. So was getting rid of the eye patch obviously bothered your eye and stuff, but was it
Yeah.
also like fear of how people would receive you kind of as well?
I think more so at the beginning, yes, because this is 2 surgeries later, so at the beginning when I was pre-surgeries, it was kind of like, I don't want anybody to see it
I got
because
you.
it looked way different than this at the beginning. So I do think at one point, it was very like, wait, I don't want people to see this, but then I don't even know if I came into a full, like sit down and accept or anything like that. But it was just like, Jessica, are you comfortable? No. If it makes you uncomfortable, keep going. Not keep going, but, like take it off and keep going as you are. And just deal with it as it comes. But I wasn't, like I said, I was never really scared of what was going to come from it. And I think that's why it was so easy for me, because it was very just like, what's going to come is going to come. You can't stop that regardless. So
Right.
just, be you, be comfortable, be fine with who you are and your new situation.
Okay, absolutely. So now you mentioned earlier that you were very spiritual. So do you feel like a lot of times people will blame God for things that happen to them? They'll blame God like why me? Why did this happen to me? Do you feel like it happened because one, your personality is very upbeat. You're very optimistic about everything. So do you feel like it was partly because of your personality and the fact that you have a story to tell now and you can show other people that there's more to life than just what you have, appreciate what you have, but also appreciate your life in general. You know what I'm saying? Is that kind of like
For sure.
the
Yes.
direction you feel with that?
People have called me crazy, but I thank God that this happened to me. Of course, I never want this to happen to anybody, but the way I felt God's grace through it is, just made me feel like, okay, Jessica, you know who you are. You have, like you said, I have the personality and I have a huge heart. I've always told myself, like, you're going to do something to help people one day, but I never knew what. And now this was pretty dramatic, but
Right.
now it's like, now you see what you were supposed to do. Like, God had to sit me down in that way, and that's okay, because I was just, not saying I was just working and things like that, but I was kind of moving through life just on a, all right, go make your money, pay your bills, that kind of lifestyle. And now it's just very like, no, you have a purpose, and now I gave you something to fully fulfill your purpose because you weren't doing it before.
Right.
So now, here you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you this. Run
Right.
with it.
Okay. That's
yeah.
like I said. That's inspirational and admirable at the same time. Because a lot of people will be defeated. Like I know, like me, I probably would be. I'd probably be depressed. I'd be like, man, what's the point? I can only see out of what eye. But there's. It's like I said. It's a I don't know, a novelty. Honestly, having the ability to do everything that you can, because a lot of people are born with defects. A lot of people
Right.
lose limbs. Like soldiers lose limbs. And they just adjust. That's
Yeah.
what we do as people. We adjust and we roll with the punches, and we just keep it
You
moving
have
the best we
to.
can.
Yeah, you really do have to, because you only, like, when things like this happen to you, you only have 2 choices. You can either sit in it and be sad, or not exactly sit in it, but and be happy with it, or move on from it.
Accept it. Right.
There's no point in you being sad. That's just gonna make you miserable. So
absolutely.
And there's been times like I just recently lost my voice and everything, but when I get it back, I'm just like the smallest things, and I'm like, thank you, God, because I didn't realize that I needed my voice as much as I do.
No, that's absolutely true, because I'll get I really appreciate my health when I'm in good health, because when I get sick, I'm miserable, and then after I'm done being sick, you don't realize how much you appreciate being able to breathe properly, being able to not have a sore throat, you know what I'm saying? Like all those things.
Seriously.
You start to appreciate once you get sick, or once you have some type of inconvenience to you as a person. It's like, wow, I really appreciate this.
Exactly. And I'm hoping, and I'm still working on this myself. I'm not perfect. I just want to spread the message of appreciate it before you lose it, because there's so many things. It's just like, oh, I can drive my car, and I can go to work, and I can wear this, and do this and do that, but it's so just second nature to you that you don't realize, no, you actually love that. And if you didn't have that, you'd be very sad. So you should probably appreciate it way more than you actually are right now. And that doesn't mean you have to, sit down every day when you get in your car and like, wow, thank you.
I appreciate you.
Right. But, just simply taking care of your, your personal belongings, taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, things like that. We have to do that before something comes along and says, no, now you no longer have it, and you should have just appreciated it while you did.
No, absolutely. That's something that a lot of people need to take into account, need to learn from, because it's humbling too. It really makes you humble and makes you just, non-materialistic, like all those things.
Seriously.
It's just like you see things like these things in this office. Like to me, it's just another thing. Like it's not that I don't appreciate it.
No.
Right? and it's not that I don't appreciate them, but it's just like I know they can be gone in an instant, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't value these more than, friendships and family, things like that.
Right.
So I think a lot of people need to adopt that mind state and just kind of move forward like that. And I think the world would be a better place, honestly.
It would. World peace.
World peace, there you go. So have you considered like motivational speaking? Like have you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I actually have an event coming up right now. I'm very new into all of this. Like I was always, not tooting my horn or anything, but I was always, like a leader, and but like I said before, I'd never kind of pushed through with it.
Right.
So right now I'm trying to get into everything that I've always wanted to do or always had the ability to do.
Okay.
But being that I'm just starting off new, I'm not on a huge scale, but I'm taking like little steps. So like I said, I have an event coming up soon that I'm doing for someone who reached out. I'm going to see how that goes, and then maybe in the future I can hold my own events, things of that nature. For sure, with gun violence,
absolutely.
I need that to be like a front runner in anything that I do, because it's getting absolutely ridiculous across the world right now. Not just here in our city or anything like that. This is going on everywhere. Like this Nipsey Hussle thing.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the fact that people feel that they can just go out and decide that they can take somebody's life from a gun with I don't even know what happened. I don't really get into the logistics of other people's lives or anything like that. But at the end of the day, a man decided that he was able to take someone else's life with a gun, and he did. That happens way more than we know. So even just rallies, things like that, and of course if I can go further with a huge scale of things that I don't even want to speak on right now, only because I'm not knowledgeable enough about it.
Right.
But just moving to a very large scale as far as gun violence is concerned.
Okay.
So in the meantime, I just want to make sure I'm uplifting people, motivating people, empowering people, but the overall goal is to be very gun violence forward. Okay.
No, absolutely. And that's something that needs to be addressed, because it's very common, especially in Newport News 757 area, where we have like
it's normal
homicide. Right. It's becoming normality. Someone gets shot, you're like, oh, who was it this time?
Right. Broad daylight. Right. That's the first thing you're looking for. Nobody even says like, what? It's like, wait, who was it?
Right.
Like, okay, wait, let's step back for a minute and realize that we were perfectly fine with someone being killed.
Right.
With no issue.
You become desensitized to it.
Exactly.
And it's sad that we've gotten to that point. And, we really need to focus on getting guns out of the hands of people that are going to do bad things, you know?
Right.
Because, I mean,
even young kids who don't, their goal isn't like, you know what, I'm going to do a bad thing.
right.
However, young kids are growing up and they already have guns in their hand. They don't even know what to do with it. They're scared, if anything, that they have it on them and they're scared. So once something comes, to them, they're like, oh, let me pull it out and use it. You don't even know what you're doing. And
Exactly.
your intent was never to kill anybody, or, your thought wasn't like, oh, this is what I'm doing with this gun today. You were scared.
Right.
Because you were a young boy you were a young boy with a gun that you have no idea what to do with.
Right.
So it's a lot. And like I said, one day I'm going to be huge. And
No, that's good. Speak into existence. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to have, within our community, within my community for sure. I want to have multiple communities with it. But, in my community, just even mentorship programs, because, you don't know anyone's situation. You don't know why they've done what they've done. You don't know why they've made the decisions. That could have been what they thought was the only decision simply because they didn't have anybody bringing them up or teaching them any different. So I want to do a lot of things. Like, that's such a question that I can just keep going with because I want to do a lot. Yeah.
That's good. And the fact that you have that drive and that motivation, that ambition is what's going to carry you that extra mile, because a lot of people they have an idea, but they don't act on it, because the hardest part is starting, but you're already taking steps to do that. You're already starting.
Yeah.
So this event that you're going to, is that your first one, or?
It'll be my first one that I'm actually speaking at.
Okay.
Yes. So, I've got onto, people's, online seminars and things like that, but I've never actually spoke at one.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
A little nervous?
I'm a little, but, the good thing about it is, it is my story,
Right.
and these are my real feelings, my raw feelings. So, yeah, I'm nervous because I've never done it before. But at the end of the day, I know if I just kind of go and flow, like, it's going to come out as it should. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Make sure you come. No, I'm kidding.
Where's it going to be at?
It's going to be in Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, okay. So Nova area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it like at a school, or is it like?
No, it's actually going to be in a ballroom at a nice hotel. She's the young lady that I'm doing it with. She's had it for 7 years now, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. So she's now this year she's able to move it to a really big space. So
nice.
Not
Very
that
nice.
makes me more nervous or anything.
Hey, just more people that get to hear your story, and who better to tell it other than you,
Exactly.
So I think you'll kill it. I think it'll be all right. Even though it's your first time, I mean, it's a learning curve, as is anything when you started. But I was nervous doing this at first, and now it's kind of just second nature.
You're like, oh, it's fine.
Right, exactly.
Come on in. We can get started right now.
Exactly. So I mean, it's just something that's a learning curve, but I think you'll do perfectly fine at it.
Thank
Absolutely.
you very much.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I appreciate that.
No problem. And I saw you did a I don't know what I want to call it. Was it like a documentary / interview with I forgot
Health Magazine.
Yeah, Health Magazine. Yeah. So how was that process? Like, did they just reach out to you and like, hey, we want to have you tell your story to us? Like,
yeah. So someone she just handles the features the online aspect of it. So I haven't been in the actual paper yet. That's another goal.
Okay.
But yeah, so she does the online features, and social media is amazing these days. I know some people are like against social media, but it's perfect for networking. If you use it for what it's for, social media is the best thing that's ever happened.
Just people get caught up in it. They get drowned in it. They focus on what other people are doing.
Wrong people.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so she reached out to me in just a DM, and then we went ahead and got it set up. It was in New York, so my parents are there, so I just flew out to New York.
Okay.
And we did it all in one day, and then it came out a couple months later.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the experience like working with them? Like, was it like a smooth experience, or?
It was.
Okay.
They were very basically anything you needed to feel comfortable, they were willing to do. There were some things that, just part of the business, like the fact that it's freezing cold outside and I'm like by a pier shaking, but I have to act like I'm not, once the camera's on,
I got you.
So things like that, they can't do anything about. That's just part of the life. It's winter, nothing we can do. However, them inviting me to their building, dealing with the photographer, set up, hair, makeup, all that. They were very, very, very nice. So it's something that I would definitely do again. I was nervous for sure. I'm always nervous.
Were you nervous for this?
I was only because like you said, I've never done any of this. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've always known how to talk to people or how to talk and things like that.
Right.
But this is all new to me. I never thought I thought maybe, but I wasn't sure to
Mm-hmm.
what extent.
Okay.
But yeah, so just coming into something new, it's not so much nervous of like, what am I gonna do? But it's just like, wait, I've never done this before. Are there certain things you do, certain things you don't do,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature? Cause
Okay.
yeah, at the end, I'm really considerate of other people. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, is this fine? What do I do if
I
you're,
got you.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I was nervous with usually the people that I deal with. I know about them before. I heard about you through friends and things like
Right.
that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm nervous from my aspect, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still comfortable enough to like I know who I'm dealing with, and we like even with the health thing, we were corresponding before I got out there. I
Right.
spoke with them on the phone before I got out there, so it was very like okay, even if you've never done this, we're
Right.
walking through it,
Right.
and like I said, I am that girl. I don't hate to be that girl, but I am that girl. God makes sure that I'm fine. God
Right.
holds me down like no other. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely God's favorite. No.
No, absolutely, and I always try to make people feel comfortable because obviously the podcast is out of my house, so obviously I want to make sure that people that come here are comfortable. They
Yeah.
know who I am. They know how I deal with things and
Yeah, you did
how
that
I
really,
handle
really
things.
well. So thank
Well, I
you.
appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I just want to make sure that everything's a smooth process and that that way the dialect is natural. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want people to feel like it's forced. I don't want people to feel like,
Right.
oh, I'm nervous. I don't know if I should say this or that. It's just normal conversation, So
Exactly.
and like I said, that's why I think you'll do fine at the public speaking because obviously I'm one person compared to hundreds or thousands. But
I'm just gonna pretend one person's there.
right. You just kind of just hone your focus on other people and just
I
kind
don't
of
know
like
who you
scan the
are,
room.
but you're my one person today.
Right, exactly. So I think you'll do just fine. Now, looking back, so your goals prior to the incident, how much have they shifted since that incident happened?
um, I don't want to say 100%, but I kind of can, because
Mm,
everything was very. I mean, I was always, just making sure I was a good person and just doing the right things and all of
right.
that. However, my goals were very, at the job I'm at, where's the next step in my job and things like that, not realizing like I value my job and I'm so thankful for my job, even how
Mm,
supportive they were of me through my entire process. The fact that they let me leave for that long and come back when I was ready. So I thank them for all of that, but life is so much bigger.
absolutely.
So goals shifted from, very, all right, well, in the workplace, what are you doing? And what's your next department? And, things like that. Or, home, you're buying a new house, a new car, all of that. But now it's like, so what are you doing to leave your mark? What are you doing to help someone every single day?
Right.
So the goal shifted. I'm going to go ahead and say 100%.
Okay, so it kind of just your goals kind of just did a 180 afterwards because again this incident kind of gave you a broader perspective, or
Right.
not that you didn't have it before, but now it's more profound and it's deeper.
Right, exactly. Before you can know it, I know I should be a good person, but am I doing everything? Probably not.
Mm,
And
right.
I definitely wasn't perfect before then. I'm definitely not perfect now.
Nobody is, right.
However, my spirit's in the right place. My motives are better. My appreciation for people, for things, because before it was very, like I said, just could go live a fun life and
Mm-hmm.
work and make your money and all that. And now
Right.
it's like, wait, who's around you? What are you doing? It means more. Everything means more now, and it's not so much of you know one mindset goals. It's no. Your goals to help the world? What are your goals to develop yourself as a better person? Things
Okay.
like that.
Okay, that's impressive. So all those things aside, do you draw inspiration from like anybody in particular? Like obviously, you have your motivation and things like that, but do you have anybody in particular, like as far as motivational speakers or anything like that, that kind of inspire you and kind of was like, okay, now I want to tell my story because I've been watching this person, and I've been watching these people do this, so I kind of want to follow in their footsteps and kind of, or maybe not their footsteps. Obviously, it's your story is
Yeah.
very different than other people's stories, but do you have anybody that kind of just inspired you to go that route?
Well, I won't. Okay, so I'm gonna say I listen to Oprah Soul. I listen to her podcast, and she has plenty of people on there.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I can't say just one person. Well, like I am the biggest fan of Ayanna Van Zant.
And who's that?
She actually has a show on Oprah's network on OWN.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen her like in Brooklyn. She's a motivational speaker and like a life coach. She's also I know I believe she's a pastor. Don't quote me on that, but I know she's definitely in the church, and you know, she leads through God and things like that.
Okay.
And she's been one person that I was very, you know, TV shows, they get a little commercially.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, from what I have learned from her from like previous, or, you know, just even the way she moves through life, and listening to her more so on Oprah Soul, to where, you know, it's not so much TV and, you know, other people's lives. She's just saying, you know, like just her motivation that she has to kind of clear up every single thing that you have going on in life. And, you know, it's easier said than done. But at the end of the day, just kind of clearing yourself, that is amazing to me. And like I said, on Oprah Soul, she has plenty of motivational speakers that just give you little tidbits and little gems that just, even if I don't even know who the person is, just hearing it is just like, thank you. That's what I needed today. You know? So,
I got you.
Yeah, I won't say Oprah, but I guess I kind of can say Oprah because she brought it to me.
Right, because she
you know?
facilitated
She
it.
puts
right.
it all in the same place
Okay.
for me. But yeah, just living that kind of lifestyle to where, you know, it's very soul cleansing, and it's very do right, you know, do right to other people, do right by yourself, things like that, and life kind of just works in your favor. You know, more times than not, bad things don't come from good intentions, you know.
Right.
So that's kind of what she bases her whole podcast on. And I guess I'll just say Oprah then.
Okay.
That's probably a good answer though.
Okay. No, yeah, that's a good one.
Oprah's a good role model.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even like and that girl Michelle Obama, like I got her book.
Definitely.
You know, of course I listened to her on Oprah Soul, things like that. Just, you know, a strong Black woman like that who, you know, and she supported her, you know, the first Black president of the United States. You know,
Right.
everything just. The epitome of her grace, her class, you know, is just like, even though she's not going out and being exactly a motivational speaker, just so you see, like, look, do good, you get good. And
Right.
that's kind of what those kind of people teach me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. So for those who don't know, where can they find you as far as social media is concerned?
You can definitely find me on Facebook. Under my actual name, for everyone who thinks my name is Jessica Yamaguchi, it's not.
Okay.
It's Jessica Felder, Felder.
Okay.
And then, but I'm very active on Instagram, and it's Yamaguchi, Yamaguccieye. Okay.
Okay.
Some people thought it was Yamaguchi, but no, my name's always been Yamaguchi, and then I just changed the I's at the end to EYE, just a little play on
Right,
a word.
play on words. And the Gucci is because you're a fan of Gucci Mane, right?
Yes, I love
Okay.
Gucci Mane.
Okay. Yeah, and he's made a lot of changes too, from
Right.
what he used to be.
You know
I mean,
what?
he's very different.
He's my answer.
Yeah.
Gucci Mane is goals, okay?
So another inspiration. There you go.
Yeah, so Oprah, Michelle Obama,
And Gucci.
and Gucci Mane.
Okay, so that's your top three. That's your big
That's
three
my top
inspirations.
three.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I mean, Gucci Mane is a good example. You could be doing all the craziest things, all the, you know, frowned upon actions. However, if you decide to make that change and you go through with it, you can come out a completely different person. There's plenty of people who, you know, probably would have never even listened to his music or even cared about what he was saying, or, you know,
Right.
followed him on social media or anything like that. But now it's like, oh, wait, that was actually amazing what you did. Even if I'm not a fan of your music or anything, I'm with your movement.
Okay.
So, yes, thank you. for
So let me
bringing
ask
it
you
up.
this: what's your favorite Gucci project?
Oh, man.
I personally am a big fan of Trap Back.
I was going to say, no. Okay. So he just came out with this not just came out. When he first, you know, dealt with all of his jail things, you know,
all
we're
the
not
legal
going
issues
into
and all
all of that. Okay.
Right.
But he came out with that Christmas album.
Oh,
And he
jeez.
had the Saint Brick intro.
Oh my God.
Understand that was playing through the house all December.
That's the one that had the song with Drake up there, right?
It had no. I think that was the one afterwards because he came out with like three right when he got out.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, so honestly, I probably can't even tell you which one is which because that's the way he puts out music. And also, he said he puts out music like that or puts out so much music because he says, I like everything I put out. You may not, but I guarantee that there's something on one of these albums that you will like.
No, that's facts. Like every Gucci project I've listened to, I've liked at least something on
is
there.
on there
Right.
that you like. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm even like as much of a fan as I am. I'm like, wait, which CD actually is that? Because you came out with all of them, so I can give you a time frame.
They
but I
kind of just
can't
blend
tell
together,
you.
yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, I
so,
got you.
yeah, East Atlanta Santa. No.
Oh man. Yeah, that's dope. That's good. Okay, so now people get to see another side of you.
Exactly. You would have never known. No.
No, that's super dope though. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, I think
multifaceted. That's all.
true. It's true. I think we've covered a lot though. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we conclude? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, we pretty much got everything. Like I said, just be you. Appreciate everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to look at like society made up the flaws that you think you have. There was never set in stone. Like, you know what? The way you look is completely wrong. Nobody ever set that in stone because there's somebody in this world that likes. There's plenty of people in this world who like exactly who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're good with yourself and you appreciate everything that you have and everything that you're doing in life, you're perfectly fine. Don't let society ruin anything for you. Okay. That's it.
Wise words. A lot of people can learn from that.
Exactly.
Okay, well, hey, I appreciate you coming out. I definitely am and thankful and grateful that you decided to do this and give me the time of day, like I said.
You. I appreciate it as
No,
well. For
absolutely.
Sure.
So I just want you to know that I admire you. I appreciate you.
Thank
and
you.
I hope a lot of people that watch this get inspired by it and just kind of just change their perspective on life. Because like I said, a lot of people focus on the wrong things.
Right.
And I feel like, just your situation alone should be enough to make people appreciate what they have and, just normalities in life that, people are granted that they don't really understand the full depth of what it is, until it's gone, like you said.
Exactly. So just
so,
appreciate
yeah.
everything while it's here.
Absolutely. So again, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out so much. Everybody, make sure you follow her on social media. Make sure you listen to her story. If you didn't, well, you already heard it here, but can't hurt to hear it again.
Keep going. See where I'm going with this.
Absolutely.
Follow me so you can see what I keep doing.
Absolutely. Follow her, see her growth, see her development, because she's doing motivational speaking very soon, and she's going to be doing it on a larger scale every single time she does it. So again, I appreciate you for coming out. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a phenomenal day.
You too.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you. 75Junction is out.